Had a good little light practice this morning out there. We was going to do one yesterday, but canceled yesterday because we had the picture day and the fan day yesterday kind of zapped them, especially after about 4 or 5 pretty good practices in a row. So was a nice guy and let him go home early yesterday and get some rest, and then started back up this morning where we had a good helmets practice for about a lot of special team stuff, did about an hour offense and defense, and then let them get away for a couple hours here this afternoon, and then get back to a full padded practice this afternoon where we'll work a ton of red zone, score zone, live drills and tackling and all that good stuff this afternoon. So I think we're on practice 11 if I'm not mistaken. So that's kind of where we're at. I just thought take some specific questions.
You mentioned special teams. Everybody talked about what Prescott. What returners do you think you would use?
Worked it out there again today. He's in the mix. He's got great ball skills. It's going to depend on what his role is offensively, which we haven't figured out yet. But we trust Jordan back there, who has fielded a lot of punts. So we trust him back there. He's the thing that we've told him, and Jordan's had a phenomenal camp. I've said this before. I mean, it's been well documented that he's had great spring practices and spring games, and needs to be more productive in games. But he looks really good on offense. So he may be turning the corner into being a guy that can make some plays. The thing with him on punt returns last year, he'd catch it, but he never got the yards. But he's got a chance. Mario Alford looks much more comfortable fielding punts. We kind of gave up on him early last year when he dropped a couple of punts. So, but he looks much more comfortable back there. Vernon Davis is catching him well. It's a competition with those guys right now, and I don't know how you can gauge being able to catch it and make people miss and all that until you get into a game. So it may be a competition going into the season. Kickoff got a bunch of bodies back there. It's kind of the same thing. We watched them field a bunch of kicks today, a variety of kicks. There's a lot of times where it's not just gonna, they're not gonna catch the ball on the 0-yard line and be able to return it. People start spraying them everywhere. So it's the same guys. Mario and Wendell, we liked what they did last year. I didn't feel like our blocking was very good last year. And we're working extremely hard on that. And we got a lot of capable bodies that have done it in the past, and the schemes, we're much more comfortable with them. Coach DeForest has coached several return All-Americans in his time, so we have a good scheme, we have a good plan, we have plenty of bodies that can execute that stuff up there. Those two guys, I think, are capable of doing it. And then you had Darryl Worley, you had Sheldon Gibson, you had Drayvon Henry, and Darryl Worley. Those are 6 capable guys that can kind of hit it and go. So it's more about the blocking up front than it is those guys in the back at this point in time on kickoff return. Punt return, I think, is different. You got to have a special dude that can make people miss and all that.
In terms of that running back spot, anybody emerging and taking the lead?
Yeah. Russell Shell looks great. He had 2 or 3 runs that you go, well, yeah, I can see why the hype was there. He's getting much more comfortable. His ball security is better. He's running people over. He looks good. Wendell's the most versatile guy we got. That continues to. He's broke some runs. He's got some good short yardage stuff. His receiving skills have improved. He looks good. Dustin Garrison's had a solid camp. Bowie's been a little bit banged up. He's a physical guy, always has been. Has always put his body in harm's way because he's just a physical football player. He's been banged up a little bit. I expect him back this afternoon. Got to get Dreamus going. There's just a lot of, there's a lot of bodies there. So we're going to probably put Dreamus in a situation to see if he can carry the load a little bit this afternoon.
What hasn't he showed you yet, Dana?
It's nothing, not really his fault. Just haven't got him in there much. You know, he's coming from the knee, his little knee thing. He had a scope about a month ago. So we kind of did this on purpose. We wanted to feed these other guys early and let him get his legs underneath him when we think he's at that point. So this afternoon's a big day for him.
And in your search for 2 wide receivers, I'm assuming that's still on its way.
Yeah, you know, Kevin and Mario look good. Jordan looks good. Nikhil looks good. We're looking for Logan Moore's done well at inside receiver. He's going to be able to give us depth there. We're looking for 2 wideouts, and it's going to be a combination of KJ Myers, Devontae Mathis, Shelton Gibson, and Vernon Davis. We need 2 of those 4 to step up, and that's going to be an ongoing evaluation process to see who the next 2 guys are.
Daniel, entering the final week of camp, where do you feel like you stand on evaluating some of the true freshmen for potential redshirts this season?
Yeah, I think we're in a position to be able to redshirt a lot of those guys. Right now, my best guess would be not redshirting Drayvon Henry and William Crest would be my guess. And the rest of them right now would be pretty good redshirt candidates, which is a good position to be in. That's what you want to be. That's where you want to be. There's probably 13, 14 of them that are, you know, that are going to be pretty good candidates. I don't think we're going to need those bodies, which is, again, where you want to be. Much better spot than we were the last 2 years.
That includes Dante Thomas-Williams?
At this point, yes, just because of how many guys we got. You know, he's still getting reps. I mean, you know, he got a ton of reps out there this morning, a lot of mental reps out there this morning. We will continue to evaluate that, but what's different than in years past is physically he could be fine. I mean, he could do it. It's just you don't want to use up that year if he's not ever going to play. You know, and that the situation we've been in the past is you've had to kind of keep those guys ready to go, and if you needed to use them, you'd use them. But I don't think we're going to be in that spot.
Does Shell approach running back like he's got a chip on his shoulder? Right? Does he run with an attitude?
Oh yeah. He may have the best ball skills on the hand. I found that out recently. He's got tremendous hands. He runs angry, you know, but he can surprise you in the open field. So I've been very pleased with what I've seen out of him.
Is it easier or tougher to evaluate those guys with less reps to go around?
We're getting plenty of reps. You know, as long as we maintain health on the O-line, which we had about 3 of them go down the other day, but they're going to be fine. They're coming back. And as long as you can maintain depth on the O-line and the D-line, then you can play a lot. We've been getting probably 60, 70, 80 team reps a day here for the last week. So there's plenty of reps to go around. And at this point, obviously, we need that.
Are there plenty of reps to go around for you? Fullbacks, too?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, if I wanted to go out there and call one back plays 80% of the time, then there wouldn't be. But you know, because we have those bodies, I'm able to get into a lot of tight end fullback sets. You know, so there's as many as I want, as many as I can handle, is as many of the plays as I'm going to be able to call. We got bodies there. Again, it's about the O-line and the D-line being able to maintain health to be able to continue to get those reps. There has been times in the past where we've only had 1 or 2 of those type bodies, which means you can't do a whole lot with that. But right now we got about 4 bodies that can handle that.
And kids you have this year, what do you think you might be able to do more of this year than say the past?
Schematically, or well, I mean, you know, we were talking about this the other day. I was talking with Gibby about it the other day, and we're able to give them about everything that they're going to see because of our depth, because of the different kind of guys that we have. We can go empty and give them empty. We can go 2 tight end, 1 tight end, 2 fullback pro set. We can go 4 wide. You know, we can go 3 wide, 2 backs. I mean, we can go quarterback run game. We can go power football. We can go up tempo, throw the ball all over. You know, so we have the capabilities offensively of being able to do all that. decide that's what we're gonna do or not throughout the course of a specific game, is gonna just be game planning stuff. But right now, we're able to throw a lot of different stuff out.
Other side of that, Dana, those scout team stuff too, I mean,
Haven't got into that yet.
but you have, I mean, that's, you're not gonna have to pull from your ones and twos, I guess, to put scout teams together. You can give them better looks on, when you get into game weeks and prep.
Yeah, and we've been able to do that, you know, the last couple of years. I mean, we won't get into scout team work until a week from tomorrow. School start next week? I think
Okay.
school starts next. I think school starts on Monday. So we will start our scout team stuff on Tuesday, and we'll also be able to add about 20 to 25 guys on Monday, Tuesday of next week. You know, which will give our scout teams depth. You know, we're kind of starting to assemble who the scout teams on offense and defense are going to be, but we're not working those yet. We're strictly going against each other, and we'll continue to go against each other all this week through Saturday. And then next week, once school starts, we'll start game prepping for Alabama, start you know, developing the scout teams, and continue to work good on good in addition to that.
Dana, when it comes to stacking depth charts, is that one of the toughest parts about being a head coach?
No, because it typically works itself out there. I mean, we got to have information. We got to see good plays, bad plays, who's picking it up, who's not picking it up. I mean, it's the beauty of camp. You know, you're able to play a lot of ball and get a lot of reps and spend a lot of time with them. We're not restricted on any of this, so it tends to sort itself out. Calling them in and telling them is a difference. Developing's not hard, but telling them the good news and the bad news sometimes is.
As you head down the stretch here, are there any areas of concern?
Well, there always is, but not yet. You know, I mean, we still got a long ways to go. I mean, we're practice 10. I mean, the next week is extremely important, and then the first week of school is extremely important. You know, and then that last week, which is game week, is all just about prepping for who we're playing. So, I don't. I mean, there's going to be concerns, yes, but at this point in time, we're relatively healthy. You know, still got a lot of bodies out there, and we're able to practice with them. So, I like where we're at right now.
Dana, apart from today, you've had pretty good weather. I don't think you've had to go inside, right?
I thought today was perfect.
Okay, so that's good advantage.
I reminded him last year about Maryland.
But are you are you
Well,
thus far happy?
We got to practice in that. I mean, it's you know, there is a. Do we need to go inside? We go inside if there's lightning.
Right.
There's no lightning but rain, so I was ecstatic about it. You know, we got to be able to practice in that.
All right, so you've avoided that, is what I'm saying. So are you happy so far, or are you learning to live with like where you have to practice, where you can practice, and
Well, we got here. That's where we can practice.
right,
That's all we got.
good enough.
Make do.
All right, that's fine.
You mentioned fullbacks. You throw it more to Cody Clay, and will you hand it to Elijah Well?
Oh man, we did that the other day. That was fun. You guys will get a kick out of that stuff now. I mean, we put him at tailback. We had some short yardage stuff we're working on, so we put all three of those guys back there. You know, Cody and Hope, and let Eli carry the load a little bit, and he looked good doing it. He's going to be able to do that. I mean, he's not just a meathead fullback tight end guy that doesn't have skills. Cody and Garrett as well have developed their receiving skills. Don't think I can say that about Eli at this point, but the other two guys have developed their tight end receiving skills, and Cody's really improved on that to where I think he's going to be he's going to be a viable an option to be able to throw the ball downfield. Eli is a little bit different, where he's a more skilled back. You know, so the problem is you want to hand it to him or some of these other guys that can go score pretty quick. You know, so it gives us another option to be able to do that.
You didn't have Owen Smith, but you see Eli a little bit like that.
I didn't. Owen's a good dude. I've talked with him a good bit here being around town. Eli's that kind of guy. I mean, the thing that somebody reminded me of yesterday was he had tremendous ball skills. He really had great ball skills. So he was pretty talented, obviously. But they say Eli kind of runs like that. I mean, he's just a big old tough dude. I can't. I mean, Owen had a great career. I can't compare anybody to him, but Eli's kind of cut from the same mold. I hope he turns out like him. That'd be awesome. All would agree.
Next time you hit the road, whenever you get to go out and do recruiting, is that maybe when you start getting into some of the new things with NCAA reform stuff, whether it's the food or that autonomy?
We won't wait until to go out on the road for that. I mean, when we go out on the road, will be that off week after Oklahoma. We'll be able to get out. We'll probably get out a little bit Fridays, and but when we do that, and this time of the year, it's all evaluation.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. There's no communication. We will start getting into that when guys start visiting campus and for unofficial visits for them to come to games or official visits when they come to games. There'll be a lot of talk, as far as what we're going to be able to do. People will use this to their advantage in recruiting, and I think that's probably the next step in the Power 5 having communication and voting on things is to probably have some sort of situation where everybody's kind of doing the same thing. That would be my guess. I don't know. There's a lot of unanswered questions.
I guess that's where I'm getting at. Your hands are obviously full right now, but I mean, is there time you have to set aside to say when it's time to pitch? Here's how we pitch it, or is that down the road still?
I think it's more about what reality is. I mean, I know you lie in recruiting a bunch. I mean, that's just kind of part of it. But you become a salesman. But what are we actually doing? How much are we actually feeding our guys? What are we actually giving our guys? When we set up, when our job is to get kids on campus, and then once they're on campus, our players do a lot of the recruiting. They spend a lot of time with the players, and I encourage the recruits to ask a lot of questions about how we really are, about how it really is here. We encourage that, so the players aren't going to lie to them. So whatever we're able to do for them, administratively, I think that's going to either work to our advantage or work to our disadvantage.
Oklahoma is going to literally use a food truck on campus to help feed players based on the liberalization of the feeding rule.
Right.
Do you have any plans to do anything exotic, pepperoni wagon or anything like that?
Yeah, it's in administrative's hands. It's in our administration's hands. We've set aside an amount of money that we're going to spend on food, and my hands are kind of tied on that.
You're a creative guy. I mean, you got any ideas what you'd like to see?
Well, we need to be able to have food available for our guys, and I think we will. That's kind of what it comes down to. And Oliver and I have talked about this a little bit. Why OU's doing it is they have a similar situation to us. They don't have a centrally located athletic place, where everybody is. I mean, we're here, and we got basketball over there by the Coliseum. We got soccer over in another place, and baseball over in another place. That's like that at a lot of different places. So, we're fortunate to have our own kitchen back here, but some of the other sports don't. So, we don't need to do that because we have everything we need right here.
Okay. Thanks, Coach.
All right, appreciate it, guys.